2, 1. Matt, welcome.
Hey, man.
Thanks
for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know you're a very busy person.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah, come and hang out with us. And I got referred to you by your brother.
That's right.
And you two are some of the nicest folks I've ever met. You're from Iowa, so that's...
Michael is one of the nicest people ever.
You're from Iowa,
not
so
much.
that's how they all are. But you have a super interesting story. You've been incredibly successful. And I'd love to just have you on this platform to talk about your background, your journey, and a little bit about your current business.
Yeah.
So you are the CEO of Bardavon Health Innovations.
Yes.
What do you guys do?
So we contract with large, mostly self-insured employers. So Walmart, Lowe's, Amazon, employers around the country. We manage the way that they navigate the workers' compensation system. So if I work for you and I get injured, you get to tell me where to go to. And then that meaningful clinical data, we have now deployed a cloud-based documentation system around the country in 47 states. So we take the referral from the large employer. We tell the injured employee where to go, and then we manage that healthcare provider to make sure he or she is doing the best job that they can to get that injured employee back to work. It's a really fascinating space. I think it's really meaningful. I mean, these are the people that are doing the work, building the roads, building the buildings, and making this economy work. And for us to be a meaningful part of making sure that if they got hurt on the job, they get back to work efficiently and effectively is really rewarding work.
Interesting. Can you kind of go all the way back to maybe your upbringing, how you got from Iowa to Kansas City, and how you got to doing what you're doing now? And please take your time.
Oh yeah, well mine is a story about really collaboration and people helping me along the way. So, and I think being inspired by really important figures throughout my life. So, grew up as a farm kid in Iowa. We farm about 2,500 acres, corn and soybeans in Iowa. And Toby Rush, another entrepreneur in town, we always compete with whose story this is. I think it's mine. He thinks it's his. But I think farming is the purest form of entrepreneurship. You plant a crop, you pray for enough sun and rain for a period of time, you harvest that crop, and then you either celebrate or cry for a day, and then you get up and you get to work the next day. And so that was an awesome way for me to grow up. Last of 7 kids, parents that were passionate about what they were doing, and they were partners. My mom and dad were true partners. Played football in college, got a chance to intern down in Florida, worked with some really smart people from around the country. Got a chance after undergrad to go to grad school and then law school also. And so during that process, that was really pre-ACA, late 90s, early 2000s. And this whole concept of fee for performance in healthcare was becoming real. The idea that we would start to know which doctors heal patients best was something that was, it was a concept that was really gaining traction. And so, I graduated grad school and law school. I was going to go be an attorney and then save up enough money to start a business in healthcare and in workers' comp. And was lucky enough to run into a mentor of mine who he invested in the business and I ran it. And
what was the initial business?
So in order to get to the data, I needed to be the service provider because nobody was going to buy a technology from me when I've never been in the space. And
you got into this space because this was a law that you were studying?
Yeah, I was fascinated about healthcare generally.
Okay.
And so $3.5 trillion we spend per year in healthcare. We spend more every year. We get less for it, right? We're all mad about healthcare. Workers' comp is a very unique niche that you get a unique lens into seeing how providers perform, if they are healing their patients or not. And so I knew that. I loved that space, and I wanted to start a business that allowed me to track the data and analytics in that space. And the only way that I could do it is by opening up physical therapy clinics that focus on workers' comp, because physical therapists spend 20, 30, 40 hours with their patients. And if I equipped them with an ability to collect data, I knew I could get it. So in 2003, with a grad degree and a law degree, I opened a physical therapy clinic. And grew it from 2003 to 2013 to one of the largest of its kind in the country. And in 2012, with the guidance of some other mentors, Cliff Illig, Terry Dunn, and others here, took that technology play out, sold the physical therapy clinics to U.S. Physical Therapy, and me and 2 other people started Bardavon Health Innovations in 2014.
So, and what was the first company called?
ARC Physical Therapy Plus.
And so was that more like brick and mortar, having good physical therapists, and that was really the model?
Yeah, it was brick and mortar, which, it's interesting you point that out. Brick and mortar, the technology that our providers use to document and assess patients and then to progress them, we built. And that is basically the spine of Bardavon. So we built that in what ended up being 11 clinics around the Kansas City area. We had employers around the country that changed the way they navigated the system to get access to those clinics. Mm-hmm. We knew we had a business. In 2012, we pulled that technology out. We spent 2 years taking that from a client server-based model to the cloud. And now we distribute that same technology throughout the country through the internet. And in that way, serve employers everywhere. So
you were one of the tech companies that developed a proprietary software that you could scale or sell to other.
That's right. Yeah.
And I feel like that window is closing.
I think it is. People
used to say, "Oh, we need to build an app for that."
Yeah.
You can't say that anymore.
Can't say that
They've
anymore.
built everything.
Yeah. And I think especially it's a double-sided market. You aren't only answering to the payer, employer, patient. That provider is seeing more and more patients every day. The efficiency of the system they're using is critical. And so you've got to understand their business. You've got to respect their business. You've got to know what that reality is like. Mm-hmm. And we were very fortunate just to come at a time where we understood that. We built the technology. And then candidly, what happened from really 03 to 13 is the cloud. The ability to now scale the distribution of a software idea through the internet really wasn't in place when we started the clinics, and by the time we got to 13, it was. And so the bricks and mortar clinic was really my impediment to growth. So I had to unshackle myself from needing to own the bricks and mortar and just be able to distribute that technology throughout the country.
And so that's how you morphed
Bardavon.
into Bardavon. It is. Yeah. It's the software.
It's the national manifestation of that technology-backed service offering, and it's just now scaled to 12,000 providers in 47 states.
Where do you see it going from where it is today to a couple years from now?
Yeah, so
what's the hope?
It is actually, for me, I would expect Bardavon to be one of the most important healthcare companies in the country in the next 5 years. We're scaling at a rate now that is making people believe that's possible. But more importantly to me, separate from the revenue growth and all of that, we are now bringing to market a solution that is illustrating which doctors heal patients in every zip code of this country at scale. And for that reason, I think we have an obligation to become one of the most important companies in healthcare. I don't think we have to be the largest. We don't have to have 5,000 employees. But we will continue to grow significantly. We'll lean on that technology for efficiency and accuracy. And I think we will become ubiquitous throughout the healthcare environment in a really important space.
So if I need the best heart surgeon in Kansas, I would use your platform to go find the nearest one to me.
It's the right question. So we are starting in musculoskeletal. So we are starting our effort in understanding which doctors around the country heal the sprains, strains, and tears associated with your knees, your shoulders, and your neck. It is a manageable, governable kind of niche area, although half of the U.S. population will see a doctor for a musculoskeletal issue this year, and about $700 billion a year annually is spent in that space. My guess would be that once we dominate that marketplace, there'll be other smarter people than us take that same methodology and apply it into other areas. But this is one that we absolutely expect to dominate first.
Wow. Okay. What do you recommend for people to, if they have an idea, if they're in the healthcare IT space? I actually have a buddy down in Florida who's trying to build a software that helps expedite making appointments.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think he has an investor, but
yeah,
there's a lot of those kind of ideas going on. It sounds like that you are rubbing shoulders with big players, people who can get you in front of the right people, maybe have some financial backers. Is that the route to go when you're trying to bite off something this big?
Yeah, I think you've got to understand your entire marketplace. So in our environment, and I don't know exactly, your friends, I've got to not just understand the payer. I've got to not just understand what Target and Walmart and Lowe's want. when managing the healthcare of their most important asset, which is their human capital. I've got to understand the realities of that provider and the foxhole of the clinic that they walk into today. Mm-hmm. And so building a beautiful idea within the four corners of your island is a super inefficient and ineffective way of bringing a product to market. And I would say, before anything, get at the facility with the type of clinician, if that's who it is, that you're trying to support, and understand their business and get to multiple ones. Mm-hmm. But really, one of the most significant advantages to Bardavon was that we were providers before we were technology, had a technology offering. Mm-hmm. We know what it's like to see a patient who's depressed and angry and upset and struggling with his or her, prescriptions. And so because of that really deep, really deep understanding of the aspects of our client and those that will interface with our solution, I think it provided us a tremendous advantage. Mm-hmm. And so before I'd worry about raising capital or even building the solution, I'd get in the foxhole with that environment at a really, really, granular level.
Do you guys think that you could be as big as a Cerner?
Yeah, I think...
Just picking on that.
Yeah, no. I mean, they're here, and obviously it's an unbelievable story. I think what we know about healthcare is it will look fundamentally different, and it will look fundamentally different in 10 years. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be a 100-year evolution.
How do you think it's going to look in 10 years?
I think employers are going to, for certain aspects of healthcare, are going to stand up and start looking at those intermediaries they have formally partnered with. They're going to be looking at the way they interface with third-party administrators, with insurance companies, with big hospital systems, and fundamentally kind of restructure those arrangements. I think you're going to see employers realizing that the way that they've managed and supported healthcare costs historically didn't work. And so doing more of that next year is a stupid idea. Mm-hmm. And as a result, everything's going to change. I think you're going to see, even if you look at like Cerner in particular, they have rode this wave, post ACA of government subsidized to get us EMR, to make EMRs everywhere. That digitized certain aspects of data. The next phase will be disintermediating. Mm-hmm. We'll use that technology to find efficiencies in the system, and we don't need all the administrative burden of healthcare. Just a fact. Yeah. And then I think the third wave that's probably the most exciting will be the optimization of care. I do think our kids will grow up in an environment where they'll get better healthcare services, more directly targeted at them, and more effective in treating what they have, and less feel like they're cattle led through a system. We're gonna use technology to individualize healthcare in a really meaningful way, and so that means
and make it more efficient.
More efficient. More efficient and spend less money. I think actually providers will make more. Mm-hmm. Good providers. I think bad providers will go do something else. Yeah. Because they'll be illuminated as less than excellent. And so, for all the especially with the elections, we're arguing and we're mad about healthcare. Maybe I'm just the eternal optimist. I see a bright day for healthcare. Coming because I think
it's good to hear because you don't hear.
It doesn't have much. I'm one of the few that feels that way, but I truly do.
Well, it's good to hear you say it because you're so deep in it and been in it for so long.
I love it.
Lastly, who is or who was your biggest influencer in your life, either professionally or personally?
So I've been asked this before, and I've never really liked my answer. Mm-hmm. And I thought, honestly, on the way over here today, I was thinking about it, and it's because I take a kind of a schizophrenic approach to this. I have this in my head a mosaic of people that have been influential in my life. My parents were they were going to farm whether they made money or not. Mm-hmm. They were passionate about it, and because of that, they were happy. So my siblings influenced me. My first partner, Kevin O'Rourke, who ended up being our CFO, had this beautiful ability to be underestimated in every meeting and use that to his advantage because he's brilliant. But it took a lot of self-confidence to kind of go in a room and be like, oh, hey, I'm just a nice guy. Mm-hmm. Paul Morris, I work with right now, is a guy that has been a mentor to me because he thinks so deeply about the next move. Cliff Illig has been really awesome to me about how he thinks about people development. Greg Graves owns rooms, right? Like he's the most dynamic person. Rashan Paris understands human psychology in an instinctual way like nobody I've ever been around. Karen Daniels, who was the CFO of Black & Veatch, has this beautiful, genuine quality. And so depending on what environment or what situation I'm put in, I find myself thinking of people that I know would be exceptional in that setting and trying to remember what made them exceptional and apply that. And I don't know if that makes me a chameleon. I mean, in some ways, but I tell you, it makes me so happy that so many people have given me their time and love and attention.
That's what I was thinking.
From that. Yeah, I've been fortunate.
How many really successful leaders have had direct impact on you and that you can reference back to them? I mean,
I give you a list of 50.
I can give you less than a handful.
Yeah.
I think same with you. So, I mean, that's really special when you've surrounded yourself with those people too, it sounds like.
Honestly, I think, and part of it, and this is maybe my one push that I talk to other entrepreneurs in our space. I think all of us tend to get into our foxholes and think what we're doing right now is the most important thing. I'm so thankful that people have pulled me out to civic involvement, whether that be the Chamber of Commerce or the Civic Council or Phoenix Family, any of the boards that I serve on have given me the opportunity to be in rooms with brilliant men and women. And sometimes just to shut up and listen to them and to see how they assess a problem and address a problem and attack it. And that has, while it feels like that's time that's taking away from my businesses, have undoubtedly helped me make those businesses more successful because I steal their brilliant ideas. They're great approaches. I steal them and then apply them. Yeah. And I'm so thankful. I think all of those people have given me a shot to sit in rooms with them and to be quiet and listen. That's when great. It was my time to say something, but for the most part, just to listen and learn. And I'm so thankful for that.
Interesting. Lastly, what is it like working at Bardavon? What's the culture? What's kind of your mission statement? What's it like over there?
Yeah. I honestly believe we'll redefine healthcare with technology integration, integrity, and innovation. And what's exciting right now, so we had 4 people 4 years ago. We have 170 now. We've attracted people from all over the country to come in. I think, I've always felt like this was a real thing. I think now the marketplace is reacting and saying, damn, maybe this is a real thing. And then the talent is now following in to say, hey, we've heard about you guys, and is this a real thing? And maybe we'd move to Kansas City, or maybe we'd relocate from within Kansas City, or talent that's just been with me is now just exploding with opportunity. And so I do think it's a special place. I think any company that grows that fast, you're going to have some organizational communication, stuff. Yeah.
Growing pains.
Space. Like we got people piled on top of people. We're trying to find space to grow. Yeah. But I think people are uber passionate about what we're doing. I think we have an expectation that you be, a good person. We don't have to agree about politics or religion, but we have to love and respect each other every day. But we also understand that we have a big mission and a big vision, and it is the absolute expectation that you be excellent at your job. And so we want people bringing their A game every day and not apologizing about it. We're trying to change healthcare. That takes really smart, driven people. And so we expect all of those things, and I think we're getting it.
Wow. Well, it sounds like you have a special thing going.
I love it.
I appreciate your time. Thank you
so
much for coming on with us.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And we'll wish you the best luck, and we'll have to do this again in maybe another year or two.
Anytime.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Right on. Thank you.
Great. Easy enough, right?